Post-race press conference for the And Better Health 400. We're joined by crew chief Paul Wolfe of the number 22 Auto Trader Ford for Team Penske. And Paul, I mean, you put together a really dominant car today, but there's a lot of drama there at the finish. Walk through the car today and how it performed and your excitement for this victory here in Atlanta.
Yeah, obviously very excited. Coming into the weekend, we expected to have speed, but we knew based off of Daytona, we're going to have to work on handling much more, not only from a speedway perspective, but then you come to Atlanta, a tighter track. We knew based off of last year that we're going to have to work on that. No practice makes that tough because you just don't know how much of a change to make. But proud of all the guys and all the work on simulation to figure it out. We were fast in qualifying, made quite a few adjustments going into the race, and was a little concerned about, how far off our balance would be. But honestly, I did a little bit of air pressure during the race at a few stops. But other than that, it drove really well. So excited for the whole team effort. Obviously, the 12 and the 2 were very strong today. We were able to work together, help us a lot at the end, and that was key to be able to make that surge on the bottom lane.
Okay, we're going to open the floor up for questions. If you have a question, we'll get a wireless mic to you. We're going to start here with Mike Embry, go to Dustin, then to Bob.
Mike Embry, NBC Sports. Paul, there was a lot of the race was single file, a lot of the race was 2 lanes. How were y'all able to determine when and how you might try to make both lanes work?
Well, I think, our car was strong enough when we were leading early in the race. I think at a couple points some guys tried to make the bottom work, but I think you had to have a really strong car and guys that could work with you very well to make the bottom work. And I think after the first stage of the race, I think Joey realized how strong his car was, and we lost the lead off of pit road there at one point, but I was okay with that. I wanted to save a little fuel for that final stop to speed that up. And then we got shuffled around and lost our track position in that sequence. So from there, it was really, trying to stay out of trouble. Obviously, he dodged a couple wrecks and we're able to get back towards the front. And then once we got our teammate back behind us, we were able to really make the bottom work. And like I said, I think there was only a few cars that could really do that. Just from a handling perspective, I think you had to have speed and handling to make that work. And the Auto Trader Ford was really strong today. I'm proud of all the effort.
Go to Dustin, then to Bob, then to Steve, then to Wolfgang.
Dustin Long, NBC Sports. Paul, obviously you know Brad intimately well. You know Joey, obviously. What was it like from your perspective to see those two? I know there were others behind kind of impacting things, but what was it like to see those two racing for the win at a speedway type of race?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it was exciting. I said I about lost my voice at the end of the race screaming on the end of the pit box. It was exciting. I mean, I thought it was great racing to the end. Obviously, Brad is so good at these type of racing as well, and I was listening to him and TJ, and when we're racing side by side and all the information he was getting, and obviously he's very good at blocking and being able to manage the lead, and I know that. So the fact that Joey was able to make some of those moves that he did on him was pretty impressive because I know, like you said, how well Brad understands this type of racing, how good he is at it. But Joey was at another level today, and I think he had confidence in his car. And when he has confidence in his car, he can make some magic happen out there for sure.
And obviously, if you look around at the guys that were around you there at the end, Brad's trying to win for the first time in a long time. Tyler Reddick's trying to win for the first time with a new team. Corey LaJoie was up there trying to win just for the first time ever. There was a lot at stake for some of those guys, but what does a win mean for you? You guys have won, you're champions. What was at stake for you today?
Well, I think we say this every year, and I think all teams feel this way, but, winning early is what it's all about in this format, and, win and you're in the playoffs, and just a bit of a relief. And I think we haven't had the start to the season we'd want or hope for. Feel like we're, the West Coast swing was pretty rough on us. I mean, we had speed at times, but not really where we need to be on any of those tracks. So we've got our work cut out for us. We know the speedways with this with the new aero changes to all the manufacturers, the speedways are probably the strengths for the Fords right now. I think we saw that in Daytona as well. And then I think if you look at qualifying yesterday, that'll probably point to that same sign. So we have to take advantage of these races right now. If this is our strength, then we got to make sure we execute. And that's probably what I'm most proud of, is that we were able to come here and get the win. And you know, now we've really got to have to squeeze hard to try to get some more speed out of our cars on the downforce tracks.
Okay, we're going to go next to Bob, then to Steve, then to Wolfgang, then to Jordan.
Bob Parker's Fox Sports. Following up on that, what was the vibe and maybe the atmosphere around the team after the last 2 weeks? And last year you won Vegas and you won Phoenix, and Phoenix in pretty dominating fashion. And I mean, I didn't look like you were all that great in either track the last couple of weeks.
No, and that's what I said. It's tough, and you go to both of those tracks, and we weren't there very long ago, right? Just at the end of the season, and we're able to win at both of them in dominant fashion. And so you kind of go back there with things that work, or from a setup perspective, and you don't have the speed. It's a little alarming for sure, and trying to understand it all. We know, like I said, from an aero perspective, things have changed. And so I'm not saying we don't need to adjust our setups a little bit to accommodate that, but it comes to a point where there's only so much you can do with the amount of downforce you've got in your car.
So were you guys down, or are you veteran racers and things come and go?
Yeah, we're down. I mean, we're disappointed. We don't like it. We want to win. We expect to win. Our sponsor or all our supporters expect us to win, so it's tough. And that's why I said I think getting this win here now gets a little a little bit of confidence maybe that we still know how to do this, but it may be a little more difficult, like I said, at some of these other tracks. And we're going to continue to work hard. I mean, we by no means do we don't feel like we can compete at those tracks, but when you go there and with stuff that you were able to have success with last year and then not have the speed, it's frustrating.
Okay, we're going to go to Steve, Wolfgang, Jordan, and then Steve in the back.
Steve Schweitzer with the Lasco Press. Paul, over here. As you said, you won the first stage, the second stage, and then middle of the third stage, you find yourself back in 20th place. What was the conversation on the radio with Joey? Was he a little stressed, worried, bummed out, or how did he handle the just the circumstances of being shuffled back?
Well, I think obviously we were all a little bummed. We had lost a track position, and knowing how hard it was, as you watch the race play out, especially when the race would get single file, it was very hard for guys to move. Was a little concerned. I felt like our car seemed to have pretty good speed and handling compared to most, and I commented to him about that at one point. Like I feel like we're quite a bit better than these guys in front of us. You gotta have some help to go with you too. And he made some good moves and was able to miss some of the wrecks, and we did get some of our track position back just by steering clear of that. And then as we got ourselves in the top 10, then I think guys know we had a strong car and are willing to go with you. You got to have that help to really make the bottom work. And ultimately at the end, with our teammates pushing, we're able to show our strength again.
Wolfie?
Wolfgang Monza, Ranchford Press. Paul, congratulations first. I have a little technical question. This race was run under relatively cold temperature condition. When you're coming back here later in the year, I think in July it will be maybe warmer or hotter. How big is the influence of hot and cold temperatures on the setup and aero package of the car?
Yeah, it'll definitely make a difference. Like you said, it was quite cool here, and once that track heats up, it starts getting slick. And at that point, you're going to have to add more downforce to the cars. And I think we'll take what we had today, learn from that, but understand that when we come back, if it's 80 degree temperatures, we'll have to put some more downforce in the car, which we definitely have that adjustability with this new car, and working with your ride heights and those types of things, you can change your downforce levels. And obviously you're going to add drag at some point, but for us, it's about being able to keep the pedal down at these style of tracks. So I think there's definitely a trade-off, but you try to find efficient ways to add downforce, and that's what we'll have to do to come back and be able to have this same success.
Go next to Jordan, and then we'll finish with Steven in the back.
Jordan Bianchi, The Athletic, to your right. Did you feel like you were kind of watching like a chess match between Brad and Joey there?
Absolutely. Like I said, that's why it was so exciting, to be able to get the win, because I knew how hard they were both working to try to manage the race and lead the race. So it was super exciting to watch from the pit box for me, and even more exciting that we were able to come out on top, of course.
You said you lost your voice. I didn't hear you much over the radio. Were you shouting, screaming?
I was just shouting after we came across the line and won the race with the guys. So I don't usually get too emotional, but that was just a fun race to watch and to be able to pull it off.
And then over the final laps, I mean, the crew chief's role here is different than other tracks, and here it's really driver spotter. So as this is unfolding over the last 13 laps or so, and really the last 6, what were you doing? What were you saying? Were you doing anything, or were you just sitting there kind of watching this, taking it in?
Really just taking it in. Once we pitted for the last time, and like I told Joey, I said everyone's good from here to the end. At that point, you're not coming back down pit road unless you have an issue or something. Obviously, the tires held up good today. There's plenty of grip in the tires, and there would be no reason to give up track position to pit again. So at that point, it's kind of up to Coleman and Joey, and obviously they did a great job. I mean, Coleman and Joey's relationship is strong, and they're really on the same page when it comes to this style of racing.
Go to the back to Steven.
Steve Connolly, the podium finish. Paul, we hear a lot about with these super speedway races, the manufacturers working together. It seems like that is not as much the case here at Atlanta, or is that just kind of visual? Do you spend as much time working on that for this race?
No, it's not quite as much. I think obviously we work strong with our teammates. We work well with the 12 and the 2, but I wouldn't say we put as much time in planning with the rest of the Ford teams here as what we would Daytona or Talladega. And kind of the way the pitting works here, you don't really need help during the pit cycle. It's almost better to be, if we were to pit under green, it's easier to get on and off the pit road here with the uniqueness of it. So we didn't really feel like that planning was necessary, and it was kind of just we all, they still help each other when they're out there racing when they can, but there's not like a specific orders or anything like that when we come to here.
Well, Paul, congratulations again on the win, and good luck next week at COTA.
All right, guys. Thank you.